nut toast is a great breakfast for when you're in a hurry. It doesn't take any time at all. It's great if you have a banana laying around that needs to be used up. And you can choose whatever kind of nut butter you like. I really like peanut butter, but whatever works for you is what you should use. You can slice your bananas flat like I'm doing, or just in simple rounds. Whatever you do, it's going to get your hands a little bit messy. And I just put some pumpkin seeds on mine. Pepitas is what they're also called. They have not been toasted or salted. You can choose whatever nut or seed that you like to put on your toast. And here's a little bit of cinnamon just to give it an extra little bit of flavor. It's really good and tasty. First, you want to gather up all the ingredients you need for the apple cranberry muesli. Get your bowl ready, and you're going to chop your apple. I like to slice the bottom of it off first so it will sit flat when I'm cutting it up. I also like to cut my apples in really small dice. I think it's easier to stir together that way. You get a little bit of apple in every bite. And once you have your apple in your bowl, you're going to grab your old-fashioned oats. And I put in 1/3 of a cup. I added some chia seeds. You could also add hemp or ground flax to give you your omega-3s. And I have unsweetened plain yogurt made from coconut milk. Any kind of vegan yogurt would work here. Then I had some cinnamon flavored granola. Just put a sprinkle on top, maybe up to 1/4 of a cup. And here comes that cinnamon again. It's good in everything. And last I'm going to top it with some fresh raspberries. I got a big container of raspberries this week, and you're going to see them throughout all the week of recipes. So good and so filling. Who doesn't like the thought of ice cream for breakfast? Well, this is ice cream that's actually healthy for you, and we're going to get started with some frozen bananas. It's about 2 frozen bananas broken up into pieces. And I have some dark sweet cherries. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of cocoa powder. And the PB2 really isn't Black Forest, but I like to add it. It gives it extra protein, and it tastes good too. I chose oat milk to add for a little bit of liquid. I started with the lesser amount, and then it will increase if my blender needs help blending. You will use your tamper for most of the mixing of this banana ice cream. It takes a while, but the result is going to definitely be worth it. I added just a little more oat milk to get it all the way blended. And it made enough for 2 servings. Unless you're really, really hungry, I suppose you could eat it all by yourself. Now comes the fun part. We're going to add some toppings. There's some chia seeds. Again, you could choose hemp or some sunflower seeds. Just a little sprinkle on top. I divided half a teaspoon between both cups of banana ice cream or nice cream. We're going to add a little bit of granola on top to make it look extra fancy. And then a couple of raspberries. They really stand out. If I would have had cherries, that would have made it even better because it is Black Forest ice cream. But I want to use these raspberries up. And there you go. Dessert for breakfast. Brian and I run a coffee shop, that's our day job, and we have an espresso machine downstairs. We actually live above our coffee shop. But sometimes we just like to make coffee in our own apartment. And ever since we got this AeroPress, we've been enjoying it so much. It's so easy to do. The cleanup is way better than French press, which we do like. We just like the cleanup with this a lot better. And I just have a little hand frother that I use when I'm making coffee upstairs. It makes a wonderful cup of coffee. You really do have to push hard to get the air out of that, but once it starts going, it slides really quickly, and you end up with a little hockey puck with the screen that disposes right into the trash can. And I heated up my plant milk in the microwave. I used oat milk. And I'm just going to froth it with this Aero Latte hand frother. And I have just a little homemade cappuccino, perfect size. And here's where I'm going in my mind. Beautiful outdoor setting. But I've got to get back to cooking, so here we go. This breakfast is actually what I eat almost every day at work. I mix this up together in the morning while I'm at work. It's so simple. And I do like to eat my oats cold. If I make them hot, I tend to get interrupted with customers and then it just goes lukewarm. So I'd rather just start off with my oats cold. Simple and easy, works for me. Everyone loves a good smoothie, and I do too. But I actually would rather have it in a bowl and be able to eat it with a spoon. It lasts much longer, and I find myself not just gulping it down like I do when I have a straw. So get your ingredients all together. We're going to use our high-speed blender again and make a decorative smoothie bowl. Frozen bananas to start off, 1.5 to 2. Big handful of greens. I like spinach. Frozen mango chunks. I just grabbed a handful. It's probably 1/3 cup. And then why not get some veggies in your smoothie bowl too? Frozen sweet potatoes. I love them because they're already prepared. Looks like about 1/2 cup went in there. And I had some orange juice left over from when we had company. Just gonna add 1/4 cup. 1/4 to 1/3 it looks like. and then some unsweetened soy milk. About a half a cup of that. Again, you can add more liquid if you need to, but we do want it to be thicker than a smoothie you would drink. I love to add a little bit of coconut extract. It gives it that tropical flavor. Just about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Snap the lid on, and we're going to take the center part out so that we can have our tamper ready to do the work. And here we go. It's very similar to the banana ice cream. It's probably a little less thick than that. It does take some work, but again, it's worth it. Okay, we've got our bowl ready, and we're going to scoop it into the bowl. You want it to be pretty thick. It's just a little thinner than the banana ice cream we made earlier. And it's a beautiful bright green color from the spinach and the light colored fruits and veggies. And you just want to get your surface nice and smooth so you can decorate it. Right, fresh fruit on top. I'm using raspberries. Again, you could choose whatever berry that you like. Fruit, you could use strawberries, blueberries, kiwi. You choose. Then I had some untoasted pistachios. Just going to add those around the circle. It's like a piece of art I'm creating, but then I'm going to get to eat it, which is even better. I'm going to sprinkle a few chia seeds. Hemp seeds would work here too. And then a teeny bit of granola just around that middle circle. It's going to give it a little bit of crunch. Once you've stirred it all together, you could actually add more granola if you wanted more crunch. This was really delicious, and it filled me up. Waffles and homemade berry cherry syrup is a great weekend breakfast. But first I've got to show you what I got. I had a griddle and pancake maker ever since we were married. It lasted 39 years. It finally kicked the bucket, and so I got this little mini maker. It's got one for pancakes and one for waffles. And so we're going to use the waffle one today. Aren't they cute? I think I'm going to love them. Now let's get on to souring our plant milk. You're going to take whatever plant milk you like and pour 1 cup. I'm using oat. And then some apple cider vinegar. 1 teaspoon will help make it sour, kind of like buttermilk. Just going to stir that together, and we're going to set it aside. While we make another mixture here. I'm going to take some water in a small mixing bowl. And some cornstarch. We're going to use 1 tablespoon and mix it in with the cool water. This is what's going to help our syrup thicken. Then you're going to grab a small saucepan and add a big cup of your cherry berry frozen fruit blend. If you can't find this blend, you could just use some mixed berries. I'm using my 4th cup measure, but I'm going to use it twice. So we get half a cup of water with the berries. And then some liquid sweetener. I'm using agave nectar. Added 2 tablespoons here. You can sweeten it as much or as less as you like. Then we're going to cut a lemon in half. Get your citrus squeezer. And we're going to add half of a lemon, the juice of it, to the fruit mixture on the stove. And you're just going to bring this mixture to a boil. Then once it's boiling, you're going to add the cornstarch mixture we previously made. You're going to stir this and modulate the heat so that once it's been boiling and thickening for a while, you will just slowly turn it down. Eventually down to a simmer. And then once it's as thick as you like, you'll turn the fire completely off. Now let's get to the waffles. I'm going to start with some self-rising flour, 1 cup into a medium-sized bowl. We have some whole wheat flour. And we'll just add a 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. We're going to add just a little bit of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon. Set that aside, and we're going to take some ground flaxseed. I store mine in the freezer. I'm going to take 1 tablespoon. And then mix that together with 2 tablespoons of hot water. This is going to mix together, and as it sits, it will become more gelatinous and it will act as a flax egg in our recipe. So you're going to combine your dry ingredients. And our flax egg has been sitting a while, so it's gotten nice and gelatinous. Then we have our soured plant milk, so it's acting like buttermilk. Then I added 1 tablespoon of a combo oil made with sunflower and coconut oils. If you don't want oil, you can just substitute a tablespoon of applesauce. And you're going to mix this together. And as we're mixing, you're going to determine if you need to add a little more plant milk or if the consistency is just right. And I did almost forget to add some sweetener. I added 1 tablespoon of agave nectar. You can use any kind of liquid sweetener. stirred that in. And I realized my dough just needed a little more liquid, so I added 2 more tablespoons of plant milk. It should still be thick. You don't want it to be runny, but you don't want it to be where you can't stir it easily. Now we've preheated our little waffle iron. While it was preheating, the dough was just resting. Each griddle calls for a different amount of batter. Mine calls for 1/4 cup. And as we're going to see, I usually get too exuberant and I add a little too much. I'm still getting used to these little appliances, so I'll catch on before long. See it peeking out of the edge there? And they're non-stick. All you have to do is spray it with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray, and I had done that previously. Let's see if I learned my lesson. Oop, it's starting to show. Piping hot, you can see the steam. You gotta be careful when you open it because it is very hot. And the entire batch made about 6 or 7 little waffles. Let's plate these up and add our berry cherry syrup. And if this kind of syrup isn't for you, you can always just add your favorite syrup, such as maple syrup. And there we go. And they taste just as good as they look. So far this week we've had a lot of fruity and oaty and a little bit sweet breakfast. Today I'm going to make a savory breakfast. It's going to be a tofu scramble with a kick. First we're going to start by cutting up some green onions, the white parts and the green tops. We'll reserve the green tops for later. Set those aside. Then in a skillet on medium heat, you're going to add the green onions, and a big spoonful of minced garlic. Then we're going to let this cook in a dry skillet, saute a little, until the garlic starts to brown just a little and it smells fragrant. Then you're going to take your package of extra firm or super firm tofu that's been drained, and you're just going to crumble it in your hands into the skillet along with the onions and garlic. Now we want it to look nice and yellow like real eggs, so we're going to add a teaspoon of ground turmeric. We'll also add some onion powder for more flavor. A half a teaspoon of it. And some ground ginger. You could also use freshly chopped ginger if you'd like. Just putting in 1/8 of a teaspoon and a little bit more shook over the edge. And stir that all together to combine the spices with the tofu, onions, and garlic. Instead of salt, we're going to add some tamari, or if you prefer, soy sauce or coconut aminos. Then some hoisin sauce. Stir that together. Then we're going to get our first kick from a teaspoon of sriracha. If you have garlic chili sauce, you can use that as well. Stir to combine. Then I had some grape tomatoes. I just took a handful and I sliced them in half. Cherry tomatoes would also work here, or if you had some red pepper, something to add a little bit of color. And you're going to scoot your tofu mixture all to the side, and you're going to add 2 large handfuls of spinach. I'm just tearing them into smaller pieces so they will mix in better. It always looks like so much, and then when it wilts down, it turns into almost nothing. It's hard to believe. So we're going to stir and stir here until they start to wilt and mix together. It'll take just a few minutes. And we have another little skillet on the back of the stove. And here's our second kick. Impossible Meat has made a spicy plant-based sausage. You can also get it non-spicy, but we like spice in our family. So in the skillet, you're just going to place it in there and have it on medium heat and break it up and just stir it until it's all nice and brown. It'll take a few minutes. Once it's good and browned, add it to the larger skillet with the tofu mixture. And turn your heat down low. You can actually turn it off here pretty soon after you get it all mixed together. Before serving, we're going to sprinkle on the green onion tops. And there we have our 7th breakfast of the week. I hope you enjoy these recipes. Thanks for watching.